More evidence of a fourth boat. Not only have I found a lie in their timeline, but I have also discovered a deep political connection, not only to a former governor of Mississippi, but to Turning Point USA.
Bruh. Governors, Turning Point USA. Listen, man, I keep telling y'all, man, this gonna get crazy. If they find out that this kid was on that boat, this is going to be a problem. I'm telling y'all right now, it's going to be a problem. Okay, y'all, real quick, man. Another follow-up to this thing. I told y'all there was so much going on. There is a fourth boat in the Nolan Wells situation. A fourth boat. Up until this point, we only knew about two boats, right? We knew about the one boat, which they said was Bart's boat, that came and helped the boat that Nolan supposedly came on to get to the island, but somehow did not get on that boat to return back home. Those are the two boats we heard about. But is there a possibility that there's actually four boats? Now, we're going to check out J. Megan. J. Megan has been killing it on TikTok. J. Megan got all types of info. She doing investigative shit. She doing all types of stuff, man. So let's check out J. Megan because she said there's more lies exposed in this case. So let's check this out.
More evidence of a fourth boat. Not only have I found a lie in their timeline, but I have also discovered a deep political connection, not only to a former governor of Mississippi, but to Turning Point USA.
Bruh. Governors, Turning Point USA. Listen, man, I keep telling y'all, man, this gonna get crazy. If they find out that this kid was on that boat, this is going to be a problem. I'm telling y'all right now, it's going to be a problem.
First off, this picture has surfaced in which it's clearly the group of boats a little bit further out in the water all together. Now, here's what is supposedly Bart's boat. We can see the Garmin on top. We can confirm this black boat from this other picture. We can see Wyatt's Triton right here, and we can confirm that by the motor. As you can see right here, has that black stripe on the white motor. Now, in between the two boats is the Palm Beach. You can clearly see it labeled, and it's got that stripe, right? As you can see, the stripe is there, and yet there's this design right here and no Palm Beach. And you may be like, Jay, that doesn't prove that it's a different boat. Maybe we just can't see it, even though it should be right there according to this picture. But if you look in this video, you can see that there is a black propeller right there. See black propeller, and you can very clearly see the Palm Beach right there on the side. And if you look really carefully in this photo, you can see right there a black propeller. There's another boat on the other side of the...
Hey, look, man, I was telling y'all already. I've been told y'all, people gonna be out here, they gonna be looking into things. They gonna do their investigation, man. They gonna look into these details. These little details matter. And if the other people don't want to look into this and they get mad at people looking into this and saying it could be this, could be that, you know what? Go sit over there and take a seat. Because there's other people out here that's going to pay attention to the details, and they're going to come give you the details and tell you the things that you might have missed. All you got to do really is take these photos and piece things together. You got to piece them together. And that is exactly what is being done right here. And it's just funny how we only saw that little video that they wanted to show us, which showed Bart's boat and the other boat. That's all they wanted to show people. So how is it now that there's another photo out there and it looks like it could be four boats? Now, you see why people look at this situation and have questions? Because every time you think you know everything, every time you think you've heard everything, something else just pops up that makes you go, why? But we tripping, right? Okay.
And given the lack of the name on the boat and the black propeller, I'm going to assume the Palm Beach is on the other side, which means there's four boats right here. Then I rewatched Warren's interview.
And I woke up at my buddy's house, and we went to McDonald's, got food. No one was not with me, and I went and got breakfast. I had my buddy's boat hooked up to my truck, and
he had his buddy's boat hooked up to his truck.
The boat was already hooked up to my truck. My buddy Wyatt and I went, and with my buddies, we went, filled the top of the boat off, loaded it down with ice, and just got everything ready. Then Wyatt went and put his smaller boat in the water, which is the Palm Beach. He's an 18-foot Palm Beach, and I drove the boat from 4 Bayou Boat Launch to my buddy mine.
Okay, so his buddy's boat and Wyatt's boat, the Palm Beach.
My buddy's grandparents' house, and that's where we all planned to meet up that day.
So Wyatt had his buddy's boat already hooked up to the back of his truck. He said he and Wyatt and his other buddy went and got ice and filled up the boats. And Wyatt went and put the Palm Beach, his smaller boat, into the water. And we know that there was a second boat, the Triton, that was driven by Wyatt. Wyatt had two boats in the water. Who was driving his other boat?
Nolan was on Wyatt Pyron's 22 Triton.
On the way out, I went with my buddy Bart because we had a lot of friends from college coming down. And I called Bart that morning. I was like, "Hey, man, can you take your boat out?" And he was like, "Yeah, well, my dad's decided not to go, and I'll take the boat and I'll take you and your friends." Of course. I mean, so Bart pulled up at the dock, and I mean, I rode out there with Bart and a lot of the girls that go to college with my friends and I, and Nolan rode out on the Triton, and then we had a Palm Beach, 18 Palm Beach. There was 4 guys on that, 8 or 9 people on the Triton, and then there was the rest of the group, which was ranged from maybe 10 to 15 or 16 people.
Now, wait a minute. So Warren already had a boat hooked up when he woke up that morning. I'm assuming that had to be the Triton that was hooked up, right? Then he said that Wyatt went and put his smaller boat, the Palm Beach, into the water. Then Warren said that he was the one who drove the Palm Beach to their friend's dock. Assuming that Wyatt drove the Triton to the dock and Bart drove his own boat to that dock, who drove the Palm Beach out to the water then? Because he said that he got a ride in with Bart, even though at one point during the interview he said all of his stuff was on the Palm Beach. So it sounds to me like Warren was the one driving the Palm Beach. I'm also like, what parent would let their kid, who's obviously going off to party, take 2 of their boats and let their drunk friends drive? Like, it isn't making sense to me. I mean, maybe these parents are just shitty parents and irresponsible.
That is very possible that they just let them drive. Like, I'm gonna go with the shitty parent part, man. I think that might be factual, coincides with, you feeling like your kids can do no wrong. So, hey, give them the boat. Let them go out. Let them go out and have some fun on the boat. The same kind of thinking that can have you say, there's no way that they had anything to do with this, or they had something to do with this, and there's no way we can let you get in trouble for it. Just saying.
Then he also said that he contacted Bart that morning to see if he could come. And Bart was like, yeah, I can give all your friends a ride, blah, blah, blah. According to him, there were 10-ish people, 15 people on that boat. So where were those people originally supposed to ride in on? They'd been planning it for weeks. They were excited about it. Why did Bart have to suddenly step in and take all these people? And remember, Bart said that his dad had canceled going out on the boat that day, so he could do it. Something's not adding up here. I think there was an adult somewhere in this mix. It would also explain how they all thought quickly on their feet with the sea tow. And I wouldn't be surprised if an adult didn't come out there and just go off with other adults that were also on Horn Island and let the kids hang out with the boats. Here's where things are going to get interesting, folks. There are more GPS coordinates in the report than what we have seen publicly. I'm going to play you a clip from the interview, but remember, at 5:30 is when they started picking up regular speed, all right? It's right here, 525, speed miles, 30 to 35 knots. So here we go.
Planed off and you have water in the boat and you're hauling, we're going pretty fast. We're going probably 40, 42 miles an hour. And so all that excess water that was built up in the boat is coming out of the boat. So, I mean, that's what we had to do. So we ran into Fort Bayou, and we didn't just run straight to my buddy's grandparents' house. We ran into Fort Bayou. A couple of us jumped in the water, and Wyatt, the whole reason for the stop was so Wyatt could hop in and put the plug back in the boat. So then after that, we went and docked it, and I went back to my buddy's house, and we ate and, napped for a little bit. It was a long day at the islands.
Now you heard him. He said that they took off going 40 miles an hour, and they didn't go to his buddy's grandparents' house, but they went to Fort Bayou to go do a plug thing. Except right here, 5:44, vessel arrives at El Camino Road. 8 minutes later, then it departs from El Camino Road and headed east into Fort Bayou. So right there we have a lie. The boat...
So they made a stop. They made a stop, but in that, he says they went straight into Fort Bayou. Why did they not mention that stop? Keep cooking.
Did stop before going into Fort Bayou. 6 minutes later, it comes back to El Camino Road, and the vessel departed El Camino Road half an hour later, headed southwest to St. Martin Bayou, and then turned southeast into Biloxi Bay Bridge. Then they went back to the Bayou boat launch. Then the boat was taken to Cardinal Lane, which was Wyatt's residence. Now, because I am an absolute genius, I was able to find it. This was where they left and where they came back that day, then came back several times. Now, first off, why aren't we seeing footage of them returning that day? We know that Nolan was with them when they left. So why do they have the security cams from that morning, but not that night? Whose grandparents lived there? Jax Patalo, whose family owns a pharmacy. It goes back deeper than that because George Patalo Sr., which is Jax's great-grandfather who is deceased, as it turns out, his great-grandfather was appointed and served on the staff of Mississippi Governor Cliff Finch. As you can see, I've confirmed Jax's relation to him. And as it turns out, Cliff Finch, well, he was in the Mississippi House of Representatives from 1960 to 1964 and supported racial segregation and backed the racist governor.
Y'all see this shit, man? Y'all see how when you put these things together, everything just lines up, man. It just lines up and it just smells bad. Smells bad, disgusting. It just reeks. You know what I mean? All these connections, all these people involved. This is the perfect setup for if y'all did something wrong, we can fix it. You cooking.
To preserve segregation in the state. The federal grand jury conducted a 3-year-long investigation into his administration and several state agencies, and they were all accused of corruption and mismanagement. Finch was never found guilty himself, but some of his aides and appointees were indicted. And those sort of political connections seem to trickle down through the generations, so now we know why the governor got involved. And I started looking into the lawyer that's handling the defamation case from the Bart family. So from 2015 to 2018, he was state director of Americans for Prosperity. Then in 2018 to 2020, he was vice president of Stand Together, while being vice president of Americans for Prosperity. Stand Together is a Charles Koch nonprofit, and Americans for...
Oh my God. Man, the plot just thickens, man. Man, what?
Prosperity is a libertarian conservative political advocacy group affiliated with Charles Koch and David Koch. And if you don't know who the Koch brothers are, they're fucking evil. Guess who's one of the major funders for Turning Point USA? Major donors for the Koch brothers also are primary financial pillars for Turning Point USA, specifically their campus operations. And guess who used to serve as the director of urban engagement?
Tap dancing motherfucking Tatum, man. My gosh, man. All these things just point to each other. The dots connect. And it ends right there with TD Tap Dance Tatum. Damn. And they wonder why people have questions. There's so many holes in this shit, so many questions people have. And when you make all these connections and you connect all these dots, it just leaves you with more questions. And it's the lack of answers that people are tired of, man. There's so many mysteries going on here. And if there is a fourth boat that nobody is talking about, that's a problem. Up until this point, I've only heard of 2 boats. Even if there's 3 now, it's still a problem because I've only heard of 2. Now you're telling us that could be 4? That is insane. Let's see what some of these comments say. They said he went with Bart, but they first was saying Bart was out of state. People don't really understand the influence of power and old money. That's a fact. Still feel like Judge Ashley was on the boat. That would be crazy. That would be insane. They said yes, on the boat, or she was called and they had her on speaker. I'm thinking she was on speaker. Yeah. FaceTime makes more sense. It would explain the oh my God because they showed her his, they said ending of the video. Yeah. Yep. All these connects. They said, girl, contact Nancy Grace. Shit, for real. They said, I'm gonna need a whiteboard for this one, right? It's a lot. Since Jax had his keys and car, did Jax have a boat? That's a good question. Who would leave their car and keys at one friend's house to go spend the night at another friend's house? Maybe I'm missing something because didn't they spend the night at Wyatt's? First, I went to McDonald's. All these details scream lie, lie, lie. This is crazy, man. This is crazy. Ashley had to be there as well. Yes, the parents are extremely shitty people. That's definitely a given. My buddy Bart. Yep. They said they can't outrun God. Psalm 91 over you. This person said, I suspected for a while that there was an adult parent present because the cover-up started before they made it back. Otherwise, the kids would have started posting pics and videos before the adults had a chance to stop them. Yeah. So she's doing amazing work, man. J. Megan is who this is. If y'all don't know who J. Megan is, she's on TikTok and she's been following this story and she's been piecing together like the smallest details that we all could miss. And she's been doing this. You see, she got Epstein shit up here. She been doing it. Let's see what else she got.
This is now my 3rd time making this video because they keep taking it down because they don't want you to see what I have found. Katie has dry snitched, y'all. Here we see Katie's Snapchat where she's wearing a teal swimsuit and she's with a girl in a blue and white striped swimsuit. On this video of the 3 boats, you're going to see a girl in a blue and white striped swimsuit right here on
there she go. There she go.
Bart's boat. And right next to her with the same long wet hair is a girl in a teal swimsuit on Bart's boat. Make sure you have your brightness turned all the way up because here we have Katie in a teal swimsuit and look at her head. She is wearing a white hat.
Yo, hey, J. Megan, yo, she going for a triple-double at this point, man. She going for 40. She just found out there was a record. She trying to beat it. Keep cooking, Jay.
Oh, look, the video of the boat getting towed. Teal swimsuit, white hat. And that's not all, folks. Again, turn your brightness all the way up because right here, we've got somebody wearing red trunks. Oh, and look what we have here. Red trunks. And here's those same red trunks on the shore right after the fight with Tristan. Katie is claiming that she allegedly caught a ride home with somebody named Marty McGrath. It just so happens that a Marty McGrath is the co-owner of the Biloxi Bay RV Resort and Marina in St. Martin. Here it is, and my, that is a massive dock way out in the water. And would you look at that? It's right next to the grandparents' house. Now, in that report with the GPS coordinates, didn't they say that they went southwest towards St. Martin Bayou? Yeah, that's right, it did. And it also took them 45 minutes to get to that boat ramp over there that only takes about 6 minutes on land. Like I said, they are trying to take down my page. Make sure you are following my backup here. But Katie, I want to say one thing to you. You're young, and I know you don't realize this yet, but these are not your friends. Be a hero.
Hey, J. Megan is out here cooking. She ain't playing, man. And she 100% right in what she's saying. If Katie knows something and Katie's hiding some shit, just say what you got to say, Katie. These are not your friends. They trying to hold this shit and hide this shit. Who knows what could be going on, man? This is just a messy situation. It says, sis, you putting belt to ass. Hell yeah, she out here scoring 40. I told y'all. Could Katie be the female voice asking, oh my God, is he? I've always suspected she was involved somehow, even if it was not fully disclosing what happened. I always found it weird that Katie's sister said she made it home safe. I hope whatever information you are finding, also sending it to Ben Crump, someone who can actually do something. Yeah, and she responded. So she is sending it over there. Wait, so Katie knows more than what she's putting off? I always thought Katie knew a lot more than she's putting off. Jade, man, said these people are connected. Watch the video before this one because they just put it back up after taking it down for almost an entire day. And it turns out people are connected to old secret society BS as well. Y'all did hear that kid say, Ocean Springs, take care of Ocean Springs. Definitely means something. And this is probably the most important part right here, man. So look at this, y'all. This is an important comment. I want y'all to really look at this right here. This is an important comment. This person said, oh my God, Katie knows what happened. Jesus. And J. Megan says, more importantly, clearly the boys knew that Nolan wasn't with her. Now remember, the story is that they said, they were told Nolan stayed back with Katie. How is that the case if she's with them? They said that's why they didn't give her name at first. Wow. Said Katie is scared. They believe in going to be bullied and threatened. And she said, I'm not done. These people are all connected to secret societies. Look at these young girls who are chosen to be escorted by these old ass men for Mardi Gras. So before the 4th boat, there was talk of 3, right? So
there were 3 boats in their group that day: Palm Beach, the Triton, and the Tideline. Warren said they got there at 10:30, even though the GPS said that they dropped their waypoint at 11:19. He said the Tidecraft, the Palm Beach, and the Triton were all like anchored up next to each other. At 3 o'clock, he gets into a fight with some stranger who didn't like the way that he was talking to his girlfriend because, I mean, look at the way he was talking in this interview. I don't blame them. And they had a fist fight. His uncle was like, we're getting the hell out of here.
I remember at one point in time, I look over and I see my uncle, and my uncle's yelling at me to get in the boat. I stopped fighting.
Then Warren says that his brother was also involved in the same fight.
He'll come up to me and say, hey, your brother just got in a fight. And I was freaked out. So I walked over to the beach, and I didn't walk over. I ran over. I made a beeline. I didn't talk to anybody. Put my drink down and walked over there. And someone was getting pulled away. I don't know who it was. And my brother was like, oh, I just got in a fight. And this guy punched me in the face, and I punched him right back. Then I went to the ground. My brother put him in an armbar. And
was Nolan involved in any of this?
Absolutely not. When I was over there was a bunch of younger guys like my brother's age, and no one, I never saw no one over there. No. Absolutely not. And but
you get ready to go. There's an issue with the boat.
Okay, yeah.
This is
yeah, up to that. That's
So the fight happened. You got your brother or the scuffle. I'm assuming that it was cleared up.
Right.
You got your brother out of this situation, and then how did you find out that this boat is sinking?
Well, I walk back over, and like we're probably around each other for a little bit. I mean, I wasn't thinking anything about it. I told my brother off the beach. I was just like, listen, get in the water, hang out with us, calm down. I mean, he was calm, but I didn't want anything else to happen, And so once I got back over the boat, I got on the Triton, and the Triton had probably about 6 inches of water up to the transom. And I was freaked out because I'm good friends with Wyatt, and that was his boat. And, no water's coming out, no access water's coming out. And, it was a big issue because I think the reason was because there were so many people getting on and off the boat. At some point, the boat was very, very crowded, and there was just a lot of people on, so that it drags water.
Yeah, that's not how boats work. Boats don't flood getting in and out of water. Mind you, I'd also like you guys to see that they are in much shallower water than they claim. But I digress. As someone whose parents have had several boats in their life, boats don't just start sinking because people are getting in and out of the water. I think they were trying to run as well because there is an underage kid who just got into a physical fist fight on the island. All of them are drinking and driving boats, so they're trying to hightail it out of there. Now, Warren goes into so much detail that he accidentally explains what really happened, but not in the way that he was saying it.
I think over time we were out there for a couple hours. The boat just started filling up with water, so I popped the starboard side hatch, and the battery was completely underwater, and so the motor wouldn't trim down. I mean, my buddy would go to trim it down from the console, and it trimmed down, and then it come right back up.
Now, trimming the motor means they move the propeller closer to the transom and it lowers the bow, which means they can drive through choppy water without risking that choppy water to come into the boat. Failing to trim your boat up and taking off at a high speed can not only overheat very quickly and cause it to shore, but if waves are high, it won't cut through the wake and it will cause the boat to porpoise and possibly have rough, choppy waters get on your boat.
So, I mean, on the way out there, it was pretty calm. I think it was blowing like 3 or 4 knots. I mean, the waters were clear. It was a great day to be on the water. Sunshine, not cloudy at all. And I mean, it was a great day to be out there on 4th of July. And so, I mean, we followed each other out, and I mean, it was calm. It was calm. On the way back, it was a little more rough, but it was not anything all my buddy's boats couldn't handle, or like it wasn't like we were getting really beat.
Now, as you can see, it is tilted up here in the back, and look how low the front is. He admitted that they hit choppy water at one point, so not that hard of a stretch to think that the water started coming over the boat, and that's when they were in trouble. That's when the bilge pump stopped working. Because Warren, when they claimed that they were leaving and he was jumping into action because it was sinking, he says this.
Maybe disabled to where you couldn't get it out from Horn Island. So what happens after that?
Wyatt jumps the water, tries to throw a rear anchor, and my buddy Byron, you're sitting looking, trying to pull trash out the bilge, and the bilge is basically a pump that pulls the water, the access water out the boat. So we're all freaking out. All of our, we're not focused on anything else other than the boat. Well, then eventually, my buddy Bart on the timeline is like, I'm gonna pull you all out.
So even though they were still on the island, he jumps out and throws out an anchor. Why did they pull the anchor up to begin with if they were sinking? If they were sinking, why was Bart offering to tow them out? Why would they risk being that close to the island and that close to ground to sink out further? Because again, look at how shallow of water these boats are in. So what I suspect is that everybody just hauled ass and left, but because the trim was not going down, it overheated, that stalled out, then the crashing waves were freaking everybody out. But even Warren couldn't keep his story straight or his timeline straight, because then listen.
All of our, we're not focused on anything else other than the boat. Well, then eventually my buddy Bart on the timeline is like, I'm gonna pull you all out. So we're around all this, all this chaos. We left at 4:30 and there were still just as many people there, if not more, than when we got there. I mean, probably around the same amount. It was crazy. Like, there was a lot of people, and I mean, eventually Bart pulls us out. We left at 4:30, but we really weren't pulled out away from everybody. We were probably about a quarter mile out.
So he says it right there, that Bart pulls them out, they leave at 4:30, and you may be thinking, well, he pulled them after, he towed them after, but...
Out. We left at 4:30, but we really weren't pulled out away from everybody. We were probably about a quarter mile out, and we had the towing strap pulled from, Bart's port side cleat, or starboard side cleat, and he was on our starboard side bow, and so he was rubbing on his power pole. So Bart turned around, pulled up next to our boat, and we were just trying to get it situated. Well, that's when Wyatt called Tito.
We know that phone call was around 4 p.m. to the private towing company. Now, the last data point for the GPS was at about 8 o'clock that night. So then they go over to a female friend's house to go to the pool. And yet, instead of joining his friends in the pool, this is what Warren did.
At a lady friend's house.
Right. I never got to the pool. I talked to her dad for a while, and all my friends were downstairs. I went upstairs, talked to her dad. We were talking about boats and stuff, and I've been with my friends all day. I was just talking to everybody, but
So you talked to the young lady's dad, and then how long was it before you realized, or you guys realized that, well, where's Nolan at?
I mean, we're
All right, well, now I gotta stop your ass, because what 18-year-old goes to a friend's house to party, all the friends go downstairs to the pool area, and he goes upstairs to talk to her father about boats? Mind you, these children had been drinking all day long, and he and his buddies don't go home until 3 a.m., mind you. Now, I know it's been a while since I've been 18, but that's a long day in the hot, in the sun, drinking. Sounds to me like you were talking.
Anybody who been out in the sun drinking, you already know how it be. When you out in the sun and you drinking all day, that shit will beat your ass down. And y'all out till 3 a.m.? All right.
Talking to this dad to help with the story. And then you go downstairs and your friends just so happen to be talking about Nolan, and then you're like, oh my God, I should call the Coast Guard.
Well, I went back downstairs and all my friends were just hanging out, and my buddy Wyatt had addressed, talk about Nolan. And I was like, well, where is Nolan? Have y'all heard from him?
It just seems pretty convenient that after his powwow upstairs with the father of his friend, he comes downstairs, and then all of a sudden they start talking, have you seen Nolan? No, I haven't seen Nolan. Have you seen Nolan? Maybe we should call this person. We should call his mom.
I'm not gonna lie, this almost seems like acting out the scenario you want to say actually happened. I'm gonna go upstairs, I'm not gonna get in the pool, we're gonna hang out here, all of us are gonna hang out here for a while. We ain't come back with Nolan, we gonna hang out here for a while. I'm gonna go upstairs, talk to the dad, we're gonna figure a couple of things out, and then we're gonna come back and say, anybody heard from Nolan? Sounds crazy to me, but sounds crazy as hell to me.
Seems like they actually go back downstairs after talking about what they should do about the situation with the dad, or whatever it is they were really doing at that time, came downstairs and started talking about Nolan publicly so that everybody at the party could be organic witnesses to when the conversation happened. Because he kept contradicting himself. He kept saying, I wasn't too worried about it, but then also we know that they can kill people, but also, maybe I would just call the Coast Guard, just to make sure it's okay. I'm so mad I didn't save it, but in one of these interviews, they said that Katie was supposed to come to the party with them later, which is why Nolan said he was going to hang back with her. So why would they dry snitch to their friend's mom before getting in contact with Katie? So as I was making this video, I caught something so big it changes everything. Throughout this entire interview, Warren insisted that Bart's boat was a tide line. He was so sure of it, said it over and over and over again, claimed that there were 20 to 30 people on that boat. By the way he talks about boats and the equipment and stuff, it seems like he has some general knowledge of it and knows a lot about boats. So maybe y'all can tell me why, in this report, when they gathered the GPS evidence, does it say that Bart was driving a tide craft, not a tide line? They're entirely different designs, purposes, manufacturing styles. Mind you, this is what tide crafts look like. They ain't fitting 20 people on them. This is more what tide line boats look like, y'all. So did Bart bring 2 boats with him? As Warren said, Bart's dad was originally supposed to go with them. Tide line boats don't fit 20 people either. So was there a 4th boat out there?
Dog, man, look, man, this is so much going on with this, man. So many twists and turns, so many different scenarios, so many unanswered questions, and people got the nerve to question why these parents want answers. This is insane, man. People really have the nerve to get upset at these parents wanting answers. Like, this is beyond me, man. But listen, man, that's why I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it there. Again, shout out to J. Megan. She doing her thing. She gonna keep bringing these updates. I'm gonna keep following, and I'm gonna keep checking this out with y'all, man. Again, hype the video so that we can get this stuff and keep it out there. And until next time, man, y'all already know the vibes. Right, let's go.
It's not enough. Few solid niggas left, but it's not enough. Few bitches that are really step, but it's not enough. Say you bigger than myself, but it's not enough. I get on their ass, yeah, somebody gotta do it. I made them niggas mad, yeah, somebody gotta do it. I take the G-pad, yeah, watch a nigga do it. We survived outside, all from the music, nigga. What are we? They like, what he on? This is Alpha and Omega, bitch, welcome home. This is not a song, this is a revelation, how to get